I will call to order this regular meeting of the Board of Public Works. This is Tuesday, June 23rd of 2020. First up, we have an opportunity for messages from board members. Do we have any messages from the board this evening?
I would just like to comment on, can you hear me?
Yes, go ahead.
Hello?
Beth.
Okay. I'd just like to comment on the Kirkwood dining experiment downtown. What I read in the paper, it was a great success and that everyone was pleased. And I just would like to thank the staff of the city who's spent a long time planning this, the restaurant owners, and mostly the community, the participants who were downtown and enjoyed it. And everyone's hoping that there's more of this coming, but thank you to everyone.
Thank you. Any other board messages at this time? Okay, seeing none. We have petitions and remonstrances. If anyone is here to make a public comment about something that is not on our agenda this evening, now is the opportunity to do so. Do we have any public comment on anything not on the agenda?
I don't see anything here, Kyla.
All right, hearing none, we'll move on to Title VI enforcement. First up is approved permission to abate property at 740 South Westwood.
I think that's Joe, isn't it?
Yep, I'm trying to get her unmuted right now.
I
Joe
got it.
Song, are you here?
I'm here. Can you hear
All
me?
right, Joe. Yep, you're
Okay,
go ahead.
great. Thank you. So this is a request to abate the property at 740 South Westwood for grass overgrowth. We gave them tickets April 23rd, May 6th, and June 10th. It was mowed at one time and it is not mowed now, and it has been grown for like over a month. And we're asking for continuous abatement at this property. I think that's it.
Thank you. Questions from the board on this item?
You just have had no response from the owner, Mr. Miller?
We've had contact with the owner. He it does not seem interested in mowing his yard.
Okay, thank you.
Any other questions from the board on this item?
So this will be both mowing the yard and removing trash and everything.
The trash has been removed.
Okay.
That we did abate this property about 2 weeks ago for trash, but at that time, the yard had been mowed, and so I did not take it for that. But it has also been overgrown, so there's no trash now, but there is grass.
Okay.
So it's just for the grass now, and from now
So
on.
you said, just for clarification, that the trash was removed, but the grass had not been mowed or had been mowed?
It was mowed at one time after I gave him a warning, and then I ticketed him a couple more times because the grass wasn't mowed, but I had already started the abatement process for the trash. Can't really do both at the same time because of the timing of things. So now we're doing the grass.
Okay.
And Joe, once this is a continuous abatement, you can continue mowing this during the summer if you need
Correct.
to.
Yes.
Start bringing it back. Okay, thank you.
Yeah.
Any other questions from the board at this time? Okay, seeing none, is there any public comment on this item?
I don't see anything here, Kyla.
Thank you. Is there a motion from the board on this item?
I move that we approve the property at 740 South Westwood be abated.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Aye. Motion passes.
Thank you.
Thank you. Next is approved permission to abate property at 1000 West Countryside.
All right, this is Mike Arnold. So this is a property that hasn't been mowed all year. And we've had a lot of complaints on your report from the owners, or I'm sorry, from the neighbors. And as we've done a couple of citations and gotten no results. I knocked on the door and no one's answered, so I've not been there when someone is there to try to talk to them about the yard. So we're asking for a continuous abatement to abate this property for overgrowth.
Thank you. Questions from the board on this item?
Mike, was there some question about whether they think they're the owners or that they think that they don't need to mow it because they aren't the owners? Is there some controversy about that?
One of the reports said that the complainant indicated that the people there said they were not the owners and not responsible to mow. I haven't been able to confirm that because no one's been there when I've been there to put the citations on the door. But Elevate and GIS, City GIS, both show that the owners of the property have that noted as their home address.
Okay, thank you. So you want a continuous abatement for this?
Yes.
Okay.
Other questions on this item? So as far as the notices go, those have been posted at the residence.
They've been posted and they've had them mailed first class mail and nothing has come back returned. So at this time, so the assumption right now would be that they've got the notices on the door and the notices in the mail.
Okay, and if the owners had relocated, then in theory, they would receive them, forwarded. If there were a
Forwarded,
recent
or we would
change.
get them back as undeliverable.
Okay. All right, any public comment on this item?
I don't see anything here, Kyla.
Thanks. Is there a motion from the board on this item?
I move approval of abatement of the property at 1000 West Countryside.
Do we need to say continuous?
Continuous, okay.
Okay.
This one has not been a continuous before. Yeah, continuous.
Okay. And I second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Motion passes.
Thank you.
Thanks. Next is the consent agenda. Under the consent agenda is the approval of minutes for June 9th of 2020. Resolution 2020-30, approved donation and recycling of surplus from ITS, and then approval of the payroll register. Do we have any items that need to be removed from the consent agenda this evening? Seeing none. Is there any public comment on the items within the consent agenda?
I don't see anything here, Kyla.
Thanks. Is there a motion from the board on the consent agenda?
I move
I move that
approval.
we approve the consent agenda.
I'll second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Motion passes. Next up is new business. First under new business is Resolution 2020-29, approved public benefit of Beeline Trail Extension and Multi-Use Path Project.
Hello, this is Roy Aiton with Planning and Transportation. This project will connect the existing Beeline Trail terminus at Adams Street with the multi-use path on West 17th Street. The project has been included in the MPO TIP and is anticipated to have design and right-of-way services through 2020 with construction anticipated in 2021. This project will require purchase of additional right-of-way from 17 parcels, and if approved by the board this evening, the resolution will confirm that the project serves a public purpose and will authorize the right-of-way acquisition. The staff recommends that the board approve the resolution.
Thank you. Do we have questions from the board at this time?
Roy, after we've approved this and you start the purchase of the parcels of land that you are needing, how long a period of time do you give those people to respond to you, and how long does it take to get 17 parcels purchased?
Right. The project itself, it'll follow the federal guidelines for fixing right away, and there's certain time limits for individual properties and how
Okay.
long people
All right.
have to respond for each one. Overall, for the entire right-of-way acquisition, they look anywhere between 6 months and a year, and that's depending on
Oh, okay.
how that negotiation goes with each and every individual property owner.
Okay. Didn't have an idea about how long it would take, so it takes quite a while to get that all together. Thank you.
Yes.
Other questions on this item? Does this, I understand how it connects to the multi-use path. Are there other future connections like in the master plan for this trail that are coming after this connection, or does this ultimately connect where we want the beeline to, connect on that 17th Street multi-use path?
Well, what we were looking at this project is, I noticed it has the name, the Beeline Extension Project. So we are extending the Beeline for all the Beeline is and its amenities from about 1 block worth. That'll go from the Adams Street to Fountain Drive. And then beyond that, we're kind of adding a spur to the Beeline, which is the multi-use path connection that goes all the way up to 17th Street with this project as well. I know in the master plan and other plans, there's looking at extending the Beeline and keep continuing west with it all the way over to 37. There's no plans in the work right now, but I know it's on a lot of people's minds in the future to keep expanding the Beeline itself to the west. As for other connections, I know there are plans, but we don't have any active designs going on right now for them.
Hey, and Kyle, I can jump in here. This is Adam, Waste and Public Works Director. So the one thing that this does as well is as part of the I-69 construction and as part of some construction that Monroe County has undertaken, there's a side path that then continues all the way over to Curry Pike. And I believe the county has further plans to go from Curry Pike to Loesch Road with an additional side path, which then connects to it's not the Limestone Greenway, but
The Karst
Karst
Greenway. Yeah.
The Karst Greenway. And so that's the deliberate intent there, is to try to make those connections with additional pathways for bike ped use. So it's certainly part of the plan to connect those county amenities with the city amenities, et cetera.
Yeah, that sounds great. Those two trail systems are robust, so that'll be a cool opportunity to connect those.
Good connection.
Other questions from the board? Beth, sorry, did you have a question?
No, I'm just commenting. Good idea.
Any public comment on this item?
I don't see any here.
Thank you. Is there a motion from the board on this item?
I move approval of resolution 2020-29, approve public benefit of the Beeline Trail Extension and Multi-Use Path Project.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Motion passes. Next, we have approved change order number 2 for the West Allen Street Traffic Calming Project.
Hi, everyone. This is Russell White with City Planning and Transportation. This project was awarded to E&B Paving, and work for this project began middle March of this year. The project included the installation of 2 raised crosswalks and 1 speed hump on West Allen Street between South Adams and South Strong Drive. This change order was a result of traffic complications at Mother Hubbard's Cupboard on West Allen Street. As Allen Street was under construction, traffic was reduced to 1 eastbound lane. And with the COVID outbreak, Mother Hubbard's wasn't able to have people inside the building. So traffic began to back up in the 1 travel lane of Allen to try to cycle through Mother Hubbard's, which had people there to receive food Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday, 2 times a day. So what would happen is people were waiting to get in and cycle through, and traffic was blocked on the street and caused problems for emergency vehicles and such. So the city had a flagger come in and flag traffic, basically take people who were waiting to get in Mother Hubbard's and use the lane that was restricted so that they could keep regular traffic flowing and avoid the road being closed like that. If approved, this change order will result in an increase of $3,574.38, and staff recommends approval of this change order.
Thank you. Do we have questions from the board on this item? Hearing none. Do we have any public comment on this item?
I don't see any here, Kyla.
Thanks. Is there a motion from the board on this item?
I move that we approve the change order number 2 for the West Allen Street traffic calming project.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Aye. Motion passes. Next, we have approved change orders number 6 and number 7 for the Adams Street Sidewalk and Intersection Improvements Project.
Hello, everyone. Russell White again. How would you prefer that I read through both change orders, or would you rather I do them individually?
Go ahead and give us the overview of both, and then we will vote on them individually.
Will do. So change order number 2 for this, or change order number 6, I apologize, for the West Adams Street Intersection Improvement Project. This project was awarded to Milestone Contractors, and work also began middle March of this year. The project included construction of a sidewalk along the east side of Adams Street from Patterson Drive to Kirkwood Avenue. The traffic signals at Adams and Kirkwood will be replaced with this, and also the physically protected bike lanes will be installed. This change order is related to change order number 5 that was previously approved by the board and involved the realignment of an island, basically a pork chop island at Adams and Kirkwood, to allow the fire department to maneuver around the outside of this island. Part of that island was what's called a handhole, which is a rectangle box that's built into the sidewalk to allow access to signal equipment by personnel. This was also relocated as part of that project, but we didn't get all of the information on it until recently. So this change order is strictly relocating that handhole. If approved, this change order would result in an increase of $2,654.92, and staff recommends approval of this change order. Change order number 7 is one that was initiated very early on before construction even began. And there was an issue with hopes that we could relocate the control box and the power source for all of these signals at Adams and Kirkwood, but ended up we found out in early March that we couldn't do that. So there was a change to the plan set to install what's called a service point, which is a location where the power goes to the power box, and have the box itself and this power point new and relocated. This change order didn't come until now because I wanted to make sure that there weren't other issues that would come up as this project moved through. This power box and its power supply have been installed, so there are no more changes that would come with this. If approved, this change order would result in an increase of $3,054.60 to this contract, and staff recommends approval of this change order.
Thank you. Are there questions from the board on either of these 2 change orders?
Russell, do you think these are the last two for this project, or might there be another?
My hope is that this will be. There was some confusion, some things that changed as the project initiated. It is moving along very quickly. Was supposed to be completed by the end of July, but it looks more like middle to third week of July that this will be completed. So I don't anticipate any more change orders, but we'll have to wait and see if anything comes up.
Okay, thanks.
You're welcome.
Other questions from the board? Are there any public comments on either of these two change orders?
I don't see any here.
Thanks. Do we have a motion on change order number 6?
I move approval of change order number 6 for the Adam Street Sidewalk and Intersection Improvements Project.
Do we have a second?
It looks like Beth is muted.
Oh. Oh, sorry, Beth, you're unmuted now.
Okay. That's okay. Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Motion passes. Do we have a motion from the board on change order number 7?
I move that we approve change order number 7 for the Adams Street Sidewalk and Intersection Improvements Project.
And I'll second that one.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Aye. Motion passes.
Thank you all.
Thanks.
Thanks, Beth.
Next, we have approve request for full street closure on North Fee Lane from East 13th to East 17th Street from Snedeker Construction, and that's for July 2nd, 2020 through July 16th of 2020.
Good evening. This is Paul Kerberg with Planning and Transportation. Snedeker Construction is requesting the full street closure, like you mentioned, on North Fee Lane from East 13th Street to East 17th Street. They're working on a STEAM project for Indiana University, and this request will allow that work to occur. Traffic control will be in place from July 2nd to July 16th. We've reviewed the request and recommend granting approval for the full closure to Snedeker Construction.
Thank you. Questions from the board on this item?
Paul, would you talk about the detour of the traffic?
Yeah. They will be using 13th Street over to Woodlawn and then up to 17th Street for the detour.
And who's responsible for the signage for the detour?
It's Snedeker Construction. They're responsible for
Okay,
all of that.
they'll take care of all of that. Okay, thank you.
Yeah, and we'll make sure that it's all in place.
Okay.
Is
Does-
it mostly,
Oh, sorry.
is
Go
it
ahead.
mostly IU owned properties there, or did we notify the property owners?
Yes, this one is all IU properties.
Okay, cool.
Does this have any impact on the traffic plan for the 10th Street project?
No, it does not. There's 3 closures in this area, and we've been making sure that none of the detour routes overlap.
Are there any other questions from the board on this item?
Is the STEAM project just for the dorms that are located in that area? Is that what's servicing?
Yes, it is. Yes, it is.
Okay. All right. Thank you.
Are there any public comments on this item? All right.
Don't see any.
Hearing none. Is there a motion from the board on this item?
I move that we approve the request for full street closure on North Fee Lane from East 13th to East 17th Street from Snedeker Construction, July 2nd, 2020 through July 16th, 2020.
Second?
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Aye. Motion passes. Next, we have approve request for lane closure on North Fee Lane from 17th Street to State Road 4546 bypass by Milestone Contractors LP, and that's June 24th, 2020 through August 7th, 2020.
This is Paul Kerber with Planning and Transportation again. Milestone is requesting to close the southbound lane of North Fee Lane from East 17th Street north to the bypass. The closure would be from June 24th to August 7th. And North Fee Lane would remain open to northbound traffic. And they're requesting the closure to install a side path along the west side of the street. And this detour route utilizes the bypass around to 17th Street. They've sent notices to the 3 private properties in the area. And we've reviewed the request and recommending permission for the lane closure.
Questions from the board on this item?
Yes, Paul, we could talk about the detour. That's kind of a detailed detour around for that project.
Yes, it will be for southbound. They'll continue on the bypass to the signal at 17th. Then they will turn right to head west on 17th. And that will take them back to Fee Lane.
Okay, if you're northbound is remaining open. Southbound is the okay, is a closure.
Yes,
thank you.
That's correct.
Thank you.
Other questions from the board? Is there any public comment on this item?
I don't see any.
Is there a motion from the board?
I move that we approve request for lane closure on North Fee Lane from 17th Street to State Road 4546 bypass by Milestone Contractors LP, June 24th through August 7th, 2020.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Motion passes.
Thank you.
Next we have, thank you. Next we have approve acceptance of public improvements associated with Beeline Heights residential neighborhood.
Hi, this is Sarah Gomez, Public Improvements Manager with the Planning and Transportation Department. Habitat for Humanity has requested to have public improvements associated with Beeline residential neighborhood accepted by the city. The public improvements are the sidewalks, curbs, street trees, street name and stop signs, and curb ramps located along West Moravec Way, as well as the alley. A hold harmless agreement with Habitat for Humanity was approved by the Board of Public Works for sanitation services and snow and ice removal on September 18th, 2018, with the condition the bond for public improvements would remain in place until all public improvements were complete and final acceptance was approved by the board. At that time, the remaining items were 27 street trees, a portion of sidewalk and pedestrian crossing pavement markings, which are now all completed. Acceptance of these public improvements will initiate public works services, sanitation, street maintenance, including plowing, salting, paving, Moravec Way. Street tree maintenance will be taken over by Parks and Recreation for the 27 new street trees. Public improvements are required to be inspected and approved by the Planning and Transportation Department and accepted by the Board of Public Works before becoming part of the city's street inventory. We've done the staff have inspected the public improvements and recommend acceptance.
Thank you. Questions from the board on this item?
I don't have a question, just a comment that 88% of it has been built out, and that's good to know by Habitat. That's impressive.
Any other questions or comments on this item? Is there any public comment on this item?
I don't see any.
All right, seeing none. Is there a motion from the board?
I move
I move that
approval
we approve.
of
Go ahead.
the acceptance of public improvements associated with Beeline Heights residential neighborhood.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Aye. Motion passes.
Thank you.
Thanks. Next, we have approve agreement with Harrell Fish Inc. for fluid cooler replacement and temporary fluid cooler at City Hall.
That's me. So Adam Wason, Public Works Director. We had a major malfunction of our water cooling tower. This purchase was scheduled and planned for 2020. We were holding off a little bit, trying to see if we could limp along. Based on some damage to an internal shaft drive, this became a much bigger priority. And so we moved forward this purchase in coordination with the controller's office on an emergency basis so that we could keep our HVAC system up and running for the last 4 weeks. And so now we're moving forward with the purchase of a new unit that will replace the temporary unit in probably next 3 weeks. Happy to answer any questions you may have.
Thanks. Any questions from the board on this item?
Where
Adam,
is
when
the,
did it fail?
Oh, okay.
Go ahead.
I'm
Yeah,
sorry
turn
about
the
when did
on
it
mute.
fail? When?
Yes, when did that? Mhm.
It was about, oh shoot, probably 3 weeks ago. All my weeks are running
Okay.
together. Can you imagine?
Uh-huh.
It was about 3 weeks ago, and so we started working really closely with HFI to get the replacement ordered. We had a temporary replacement here within 30
Right.
hours.
Okay, good. They came right away and put the
Oh, yeah.
temporary one in. Okay.
Yes.
Okay, good.
Dana,
Okay.
do you have a question?
yeah, I have two. One is this around the cost that you were expecting? And yeah, okay. And two, where is the cooling tower? It must be like a pretty large.
Yeah, so it's on the far north side of the building. So it's just south of 10th Street, and we actually have 10th closed right now for the garage construction and the placement of the temporary chiller.
Oh, okay.
Just on the south side of 10th Street.
Okay, I know where that is now.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah, but to go a little more detail on your first question, yes, we'd been looking and receiving quotes for this replacement as part of our 2020 budget process. Like I said, when everything started when COVID started hitting and everything, we kind of took a look and held back on some capital purchases, not knowing where budgets were headed. And so we're hoping to make it to 2021 or beyond with this, but I think I said in the work session yesterday, when you've got a 10-foot long metal drive shaft that makes the whole thing function and it
Fails.
looks the way it did, I'm not an HVAC expert, but something told me we needed a replacement.
And you did.
Yes.
Any other questions on this item?
No.
Are there any public comments on this item?
I had one more question actually that I forgot to mention. So in their quote, I guess they said the proposed price was 210, but I think we're approving 225.
Yeah, so we're at a not to exceed 225, and that's just giving us a little bit of leniency on the high end in case we have any issues or anything major come up.
Okay.
But we expect it to actually come in a little bit less than the 210.
Okay, cool. Thank you.
Any public comment on this item?
I don't see any, and there's no public in the meeting at this point, unless Emily has anything.
All right, hearing none. Do we have a motion from the board?
I move that we approve the agreement with Harrowfish Inc. for fluid cooler replacement and temporary fluids cooler at City Hall.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Aye. Motion passes. Next, we have approve agreement with Humphreys Masonry for masonry repairs at City Hall.
Yes, Adam Wason again here. So this is another project that we were trying to hold off on and have some more urgent nature with it. But so this is tuck pointing and masonry repairs to the south wall of City Hall. As most everyone knows, this is a very old historic building that's been repurposed as City Hall back in the late 90s. And so this is not only some preventative maintenance, some general maintenance that would have needed to be done over time, but we were having some water infiltration issues and heavy rains that were causing some problems. And the reason we're moving this forward now is we've been able to coordinate with CFC Properties, who owns the portion of the building due west of City Hall, where we share that wall. We were both able to work out and negotiate pricing with Humphreys Masonry that was acceptable to both parties. So we're able to tackle the whole south end of the building with this project, CFC doing their portion and paying for their portion and the city paying for ours. We got some economy of scale from that, and moving this project forward will help seal up that side of the building and protect this major investment for the city.
Thank you. Questions from the board on this item?
Have they started the repairs?
Yeah, we just started this.
Adam?
Yeah, they did. We got them all set up this week.
Okay, good. Sounds like it needed to start.
Yes.
Other questions from the board? Are there any public comments?
I don't see any.
Is there a motion from the board on this item?
I move that we approve agreement with Humphreys Masonry for masonry repairs at City Hall.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Aye. Motion passes. Next up, we have staff reports and other business.
So first part of my staff report, I'm going to need the board to take some action. This is regarding the Morton Street garage repairs that we put out to bid earlier this year. Received bids in late April. After reviewing all the bids, we're going to ask that the board deny the bids as received. This has just simply got to do with funding and a lack of funding for these repairs right now. So asking that the board reject all bids from the April 27th, 2020 bid opening for repairs at the Morton Street parking garage.
Thanks. Questions from the board on this before we make a motion?
Do you have an idea when this may be open again for bids and the project to go forward?
We're hoping in spring of 2021, it'll all be based on some revenues and the garage is beginning to perform as they did pre-COVID.
Okay.
And remind me, the repairs that we had hoped to do, they were more like forward-looking repairs, not structural issues like what we've dealt with other.
Exactly. So as we all well know, based on the 4th Street garage conversation, we've put in place best management practices for preventative and routine maintenance at all of our garage facilities. That was certainly part of this. This was going to be some routine and preventative maintenance for waterproofing. There's no concern, immediate concern. It's definitely something we need to do in the next 18 months. But this was going to actually put us a little bit ahead of the game. And so now we'll be back to just being right in line with the game. So it's nothing urgent, nothing major. There's no structural issues. This is just preventative and routine that we just need to delay for a short period of time here.
Okay. Any other questions on this?
Yeah, so the epoxy injection, which is a structural to help the structural the structure of the building. That is just a routine maintenance too. That's nothing urgent. Okay.
Not at this time.
Okay, thank you.
Is there a motion on this item?
I move that we deny the bids as received for repairs on the Morton Street garage. Do you want dates, Adam?
No, I think that's good, Beth.
That's okay. All right.
I second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Motion passes.
Thank you. Just additional things for the staff report. Beth mentioned earlier the Kirkwood closure this past weekend to try to assist our local restaurants on Kirkwood. Been in touch with those restaurants and business owners throughout the week. All thought it was a really good and successful event. We've talked with restaurant owners and business owners, and they would like to do it again this weekend. There's a chance for rain this weekend, and so we're going to monitor forecasts. We may make some last-minute decisions if it doesn't make sense, if the forecast looks too bad to be successful. But overall, between setup and tear down of the bollards and the businesses stating that they were very appreciative, this is exactly what we were hoping for with Kirkwood and what we did with the project this summer. So we're excited, we're pleased, and glad that the businesses were able to take advantage of that additional space. And we don't have firm concrete plans on how many more weekends we'll do this over the summer. I do expect it to continue, but we're definitely going to try to do it this weekend if the weather cooperates. Sounds like the restaurants want to take the weekend of July 4th off, as most of them, that's not a very big restaurant weekend naturally. And then probably do it again the weekend of July 10th, and we'll keep the board appraised and the council appraised, but really excited for the opportunities down there and what it holds for the future. Other than that, I don't have any. Actually, I do have one other thing I'd like to mention. I just want to do a shout out to an employee that doesn't even work in parks or in public works. We've got an employee in Parks and Rec this week that has gone above and beyond for actually multiple weeks, assisting an employee on some things. And just want to say thanks to Mark Maratz over at Parks Operations. Mark's gone above and beyond his typical job duties, and just really appreciate the efforts of what he's done over the last few months to help out an employee in need, and it's just really good stuff, and want to highlight what Mark did. So thanks to Mark and our friends over at Parks and Rec. Other than that, nothing other to report, and happy to answer any questions if you have them.
I do. I just wanted to know if there'll be any other streets that will be closed for dining downtown other than the one we've used last weekend.
So those conversations are ongoing with the folks at the Chamber of Commerce and Downtown Bloomington Inc. and others. We don't have any planned right now. In talking with our friends in public safety, we need to be very strategic on where that happens to make sure we maintain access for safety vehicles. But I think it's possible, but it's just going to require some coordination.
Okay, thank you.
Thanks. All right, next up is approval of claims. Are there any questions from the board on claims?
No.
Is there a motion on claims?
I move that we approve claims $876,092.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Motion passes. If there is no other business for this evening, then I will call for adjournment.
Thank you all. Have a great evening.
Yeah,
Thanks,
thank you.
you too.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
Bye-bye.